Good afternoon, I am the Gentleman and welcome to the Gentleman's Pixel Club, and today we are in colour. So today's game is going to be MiSTer Rally X. Now if you look above behind me, that is a score that I've achieved playing normal Rally X on the arcade core for the MiSTer FPGA. We are not going to be playing that today, but that shows the abilities, that shows the love that I have for the game. No, today is a version of this game that if it had been released on the ZX Spectrum when that machine was in its prime, magazines like Crash, magazines like Your Sinclair, all the classic publications would have probably made this a Crash Smash, a YS Smash, whatever the hell they used to call it. This is as close as possible to an arcade perfect version of the game. There were other versions that existed out there. I can't even actually remember what they were, but there was a couple that were reasonably close, but nothing is as close as what you are going to see today. When you play the game, you will see a pretty similar maze to what you would see when you played on the arcade game. The layout is very much the same. There's a couple of subtle differences I may point out if I recall as we look at the playback of the video. As you know, I'm not very good at actually playing and commentating at the same time. It just ends in deaf and short videos. This isn't a particularly long video because we're only going to play one session of the game. I would happily do Rally X videos till the end of time, but this channel is not purely about that. Anyway, without further ado, let's kick on and see what we've got. So this is MiSTer Rally X by Tom Dalby, released in 2018 as a homebrew game. I believe it was released as part of a competition as well, and free to everybody, no cost there whatsoever. We are going to be playing as I said, we are going to be playing as Kempston joystick, and I'm going to be killing that volume that you heard there. This game has the same tune as what the arcade machine had, but obviously the Spectrum version of it, and in this case the beeps and the squeaks and everything else is sad, but they can be a little bit distracting. But you know what, you wouldn't get anything else from this. It's better than some of those arcade conversions that you had that had no sound or just the odd beep here and the beep there. But as I say, you know, when you're doing not a review but a talk through commentary on some gameplay that you've got, it's going to be too close, too loud to actually hear what's going on. So sprites look as good as they can on the Spectrum when you compare it to the arcade machine. They certainly recognisable in exactly what they are. There are no assumptions here in terms of is that a car, is it not a car. The only thing that is slightly hard to read is the map. Although the map is the same layout, the screen is the same layout, the position of everything is the same, the pixels that I use are very, very small, and it can be hard to identify in some cases what the flags are. You have two special flags. You've got S, which is a lucky checkpoint. You hit that checkpoint and basically everything doubles. I think they call it a special checkpoint here. And you've got a lucky checkpoint where any fuel that you have is then converted to points, and then the fuel is added back again, so you get a really big bonus of points. This, as I say, is pretty much an arcade conversion of the Sinclair Spectrum conversion of the arcade. The area to the left here was a little bit different in terms of maze layout. It was a little bit more complicated on the arcade machine, but everything else that I recall is pretty much the same. You'd be hard pressed to find any differences in the way the game plays, the way that you play the game. You know, the only difficulty I had is what you're going to see when I get a couple of levels in from this point. It was due to a sweaty joystick. It was due to wanting to do well, and when you're recording a game to actually do a video of, you kind of get, I suppose, pressure in terms of, you know, you're playing for an audience, you want to do the best that you can, but your nerves kind of get to you. As you can see by the high score that I showed at the beginning of this video, I can do a hell of a lot better than what I did on this version of Rally X. Every 2 levels you get a challenging stage like we're at the moment. The object here is to collect as many flags as you can and avoid the rocks. Your fuel is counting down as well, and apart from that the same rules apply apart from the cars do not move. When you run out of fuel and your fuel gets particularly low, the cars move on the arcade game. This is a very easy level to do, and it's a very easy level to get some bonus points. Unfortunately, as you saw there, I was dicking about and not having paying attention to what I was doing, and I ended up crashing into a stationary car. Of all the things I could have hit, that's one of them. What I do is play on with this level, and you should see me clear it, I hope, if my memory is right. This particular bit here, this is where the maze is different from the arcade machine. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. So you can see my nerves back then. I nearly hit a rock. The one notable difference on the bonus stage, actually from the arcade one, while we're here, is on the arcade version, when you die on the bonus stage, you then go on to round 4. Here it allows you to finish the bonus stage and complete that. The other difference that I notice is rocks are random on this game, and on this particular level we've got 2 red rocks, as you saw further down. We just passed them, which were right next to each other. On the hours and hours I've put into the arcade machine, I don't actually recall being in that position in any of the gameplay that I've had. You know, I've never seen that I can remember 2 rocks close together. Might be only a little difference, might be only a subtle difference, but as they're random, they can certainly be a pain in the arse. And you know, I would think that they could block off areas like the road we're going through at the moment, if there was 2 of them, in unexpected ways. I'm losing my lives quite quickly here. This is because I'm trying to perform for the audience in terms of play the game, nothing else, if anybody's thinking of anything else here. And the joystick has just got way too sweaty. You know, I never thought I suffered from, you know, problems playing games like this, but you've got the little recording device going, and as it's recording, you know what, it gets harder and harder. This little block that I'm going around now at the moment in the arcade machine, it is absolute death, like you saw there. You never ever want to be trapped in that, and if you are playing it, try and ensure that 2 rocks again, try and ensure that you have the last and final flag in that area. When you have more than 1 car chasing you, they all seem to form a perfect line to block you getting out. So that was the end of me playing MiSTer Rally X 36,340, which wasn't bad for a clone of an arcade machine on the ZX Spectrum. If this had been released back in the day, this would absolutely be a crash smash, a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to give it a like and a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.